You want to know what the biggest mistake I think we as crypto investors and traders do? Is that we analyze Bitcoin without necessarily analyzing what it's trading against. You see, one Bitcoin priced in Bitcoin is just equal to one Bitcoin. It's the same how a dollar is just equal to a dollar. But I do not think this will be so forever. I think later on in the future, older Bitcoins will be more expensive in Bitcoin terms than younger Bitcoins. In fact, I'd even go out on a limb here to say that the first Satoshi ever mined by Satoshi Nakamoto would be more expensive right now. That's if you can find it. Because all Bitcoins have their own creation dates and exchange history. So some will be more expensive than others. Perhaps we do not have that now, but I think later on in the future that will be a thing. Anyway, so Bitcoin does not go up on itself. It goes up against the US dollar. And as we can see here, it's $115,440. Now, Bitcoin does not actually trade against the dollar. It's valued in dollars, but it's not really trading against it. Like, when was the last time you ever bought Bitcoin with dollars? Yeah, it never happened. You never bought Bitcoin with dollars. You buy it with a stable coin. Now, that stable coin, of course, will most likely be USDT or USDC. Most of the times, it will be USDT because that has the most volume of all stable coins. The stable coin, which is USDT here, is always at a dollar. Its price is supposed to reflect the value of $1. So Bitcoin mostly trades against this, and this is just a representation of the US dollar in cryptocurrency. Now, since this is always at a dollar, or it's supposed to always be at a dollar, we can't use this to measure how high or low Bitcoin is going to go. The reason why that would even be possible is because Bitcoin trades against this, which means that if Bitcoin is going up, this should be going down. If Bitcoin is going down, this should be going up. Which of them actually controls the price here? It's this. It's not Bitcoin. It's not by Bitcoin going up that this goes down, and it's not by Bitcoin going down that this goes up. It is by this going up that Bitcoin goes down, and it is by this going down that Bitcoin goes up. The reason why that is because this is the money and this is the product. The money moves the price of the product. The product does not move the money. So since we can't directly analyze this, we therefore analyze its dominance. How high or low is that dominance? Dominance here simply means how much capital meaning USDT, is flowing in or out of volatile crypto assets. Volatile crypto assets meaning things like BTC, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Cardano, and the rest. So if we can measure that dominance and make predictions about it, we could essentially know if Bitcoin is going to go up or down. Now, you might be like, well, since their charts are supposed to be polar opposites, so if USDT dominance is going up, Bitcoin is going down, and if USDT dominance is going down, Bitcoin is going up. So since their charts are like polar opposites, they should look the same, and so charting this or charting USDT dominance would be like charting Bitcoin, and so there is no need to do that. Yes? No. Here's what I mean. This is USDT dominance. This is the chart on the daily time frame, yeah? This huge wick that you see to the upside right here is the recent drop that occurred in crypto. So if we flip the chart like so or invert the chart, this would look like Bitcoin's chart, but it's not really Bitcoin's chart. Like, it's not following it one-to-one. So when this goes up 1%, it does not mean that Bitcoin will just go down by 1%. And when this goes down by 2%, it does not mean that Bitcoin will just go up by 2%. Bitcoin may go up by 4%. So it's really different, even though they look similar. Now with this chart, we could have cut this bottom because this came right into the 2.618 right here, which is part of our strategy that finds bottoms and tops. But with Bitcoin, however, we could not have seen the bottom. Let's just quickly go there. So this is Bitcoin, still on the daily time frame. Now don't mind my work there. This is from the other video. But when we apply the same technique that we just used with USDT dominance, the same 2.618 that you saw that marked the top for USDT dominance is here at 81.4. So it's not the same. Sometimes you'd see price reverse at here it reversed at about 102, and we have literally no level at that point. But with USDT dominance, it topped out at the zone where we would expect. So you see why we are supposed to be looking at what Bitcoin is trading against, not just Bitcoin? And this happens a lot of the times. This is not the first time. Yeah? This is not the first time. You remember when we were here, when I said that Bitcoin will go to 45K, this was from 72K, yeah? So we took the 1618 right here, and after 1618, we'd expect a 786, yeah? And 786 right there is 45.2. So I was pretty confident that Bitcoin will come back to 45K right here. Well, it did not happen. Why? Because USDT dominance on the USDT dominance chart went here already, and whenever that happens, it marks the bottom for Bitcoin, regardless of the price that you were expecting. Now, I noticed that around here when I called this as the higher low and saying that we will most likely be headed up with weekly candle close above the 1.618 and the next target will be the 2.618. But then it happened again here. I was expecting the 72.5. Now, mind you, sometimes it actually does work like that, like Bitcoin would obey these targets even on its charts. But yeah, you'll just find sometimes that it does not happen, but happened already on USDT dominance. So this is the reason why we're supposed to be looking at USDT dominance as well, not just Bitcoin's chart. So even this price, which I'm expecting, that's 170 to 175K, that lies at the zone of the 4.618 to 4.764, I will be watching USDT dominance as well, because USDT dominance may bottom out without this being met. And if that happens, I'll be calling the top for BTC, regardless of the price that it will be. So if it's at 150 and I have credible reasons to believe that USDT dominance has bottomed, I'll be calling its top, regardless of it actually coming up here. If it does not come up here and I have reasons to believe that USDT dominance has bottomed, then that will mean that BTC has topped out. Now, this goes with altcoins as well. Just like Bitcoin depends on stable coins to move up or down, altcoins depend on Bitcoin to move up or down. Some directly through their Bitcoin pairs and others indirectly through market sentiment. So some altcoins have Bitcoin pairs, that's Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, XRP, whatever, BNB, and the rest, but others do not. Those others depend on market sentiment to move. The rest that do have Bitcoin pairs really do depend on Bitcoin to move, which means if we want to know where Ethereum will top out from, we must be looking at the Ethereum to Bitcoin pair, not Ethereum USDT. So we see here ETH is actually worth 0.03612235. That's how much Bitcoin you need to buy 1 ETH. That's how much the market values 1 ETH in Bitcoin terms. So our idea basically, and to see that idea we need to come to the Ethereum Bitcoin pair right here, is that the market is going to value ETH more in Bitcoin terms. And the value for that here is about 0.05771. Now, what would this price mean for ETH USDT? How much will Ethereum be worth in USDT terms if this actually comes up here? And the answer to that is we cannot know. Why can't we know? Because this Ethereum Bitcoin value changes in dollars as Bitcoin fluctuates in dollars. So if Bitcoin moves higher in dollar terms, this will be worth more in dollars. If Bitcoin moves lower in dollar terms, this will be worth less in dollars. This now should tell you why when Bitcoin goes up, every altcoin goes up. It's because their liquidity is tied to Bitcoin. It's not like everybody just decides to buy all of them at once. No, their liquidity is literally tied to Bitcoin. And so therefore, when Bitcoin goes up, their prices all go up. And when Bitcoin goes down, their prices all go down. So that's why it's kind of tricky to know what ETH will be worth in dollars if it actually attains this Bitcoin price. Bitcoin's price against the dollar will also be changing, therefore changing the value of this in dollars. And that happens constantly, so it's really hard to know. For now, I'm thinking 6,000, 7,000, 9,000, and even 11,000 maybe. But we will wait and see. Whenever it is here, it will most likely be a time to be taking profits. Alright, so that's my long rant. I hope it helped. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. But until the next one, stay safe.